Thanks, Lee Carl. And in other news, Police Commissioner Novell Francis and St. Croix Chief Benta recently commented on our deplorable crime situation here. News Channel 8's Wes Small has that story.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Remember, we are still celebrating National Police Week here at Villa Lorraine. Before we go to a press conference from yesterday with Commissioner Novell Francis and also Police Chief Benta, I want to just tell you what's going on. Folks, it's very sad. We broke the homicide record last year with 56 homicides. Right now, we're about 32 or 33, all right, give or take. That means we are way ahead of the record-breaking homicide rate from last year. We need just to do a better job. Before we get to Novell Francis and Chief Benta, I want to tell you about the guns coming into our territory. Please do the right thing. If you know about guns coming into the airport, the container port, or the post office, give our men and women in blue a chance. We got machine guns, Tech 9s, 9mm. This just being stopped on routine traffic stops like with Operation Saturation. It's ridiculous. The police department is outmanned, and if we don't watch it, we are going to lose everything to the criminals. We need to get our heads out of the sand, folks. I'm looking at crimes right now that are off the charts. A woman right now strapped up in ICU fighting for her life because a man who once loved her, her ex-husband, beat her repeatedly over the head with a big red fire extinguisher. And when we got back to Channel 8, we looked at our office fire extinguisher, and I got to tell you something. That woman is lucky to be alive. How could he do that to her? The situation is getting more and more worse. I want to tell you about that poor baby in St. Thomas, only 2 months old. The troubled teens, you're looking at their pictures right now. They could have dropped that baby off at a church, an orphanage, the Queen Louise home, even my house. You know, please do the right thing. I want to show you the St. Croix Avis. Look at this. Look at what the Haitians are doing. They're dropping their children off, okay, at police stations. They're dropping their children off at churches. My God, how could you do this to a little baby, your own child? If the people in hurricane-ravaged, earthquake-ravaged Haiti can at least do that and drop their little baby off with a note, please take care of my child, then you would just let your child starve to death or strangle it? Allegedly. Look at the situation in Peter's Rest. My cameraman is just 48 hours away to going to that funeral because he took the pictures of their wedding. I got to tell you, it breaks my heart. You're looking at 3 women who will be buried. 3 generations. One is 40, one is 19, and the other wasn't even born. How many children would they have had? We're losing generations. We need to be more cognizant of what we're doing. In St. Thomas, we had a neighbor kill another neighbor. Folks, we got to get a grasp on reality. We need to just take a look at ourselves. Take a moment of silence and take a deep breath and say, what are we doing to each other? Finally, in St. Thomas, the last domestic story that I want to mention is a man beating up his wife and daughter because of the W.I.P.D bill, because they had the bedroom lights on. Are we animals that we are just going to beat up our family because of a high W.I.P.D bill? The police can't take care of that problem. The guns coming into the territory can't take care of that problem. You've got to take care of that problem. With that, let's go to Police Chief Oakland Benta and Police Commissioner Novell Francis as they plead with the community to please get this situation in hand.
How much more do we have to take? Enough is enough. I want to ask our judges who I've worked for years with to consider these individuals are better off in jail than to be out on our streets. When we look at the domestic violence situation that we're seeing in our community, how can someone love you? How can someone love you and go up against your head with a fire extinguisher? How can someone love you and could do what they have done to that 2-month-old baby? We have some problems here in this community. And while the police department is on the receiving end to actually provide a level of service to this community, we also can't change the minds and hearts of individuals. Unfortunately, that has to come from them. So I ask on this day that we be mindful of what's going on in our community and the frustration level that we're seeing, that there's some calm to it. Ceasefire.
Over the weekend, we had a Timothy Rodney. He was arrested on Saturday morning after a call came into 911 of a female who was found in the streets in the Cane Bay area. When the officers arrived, this female, who the officers for some reason thought that she was in a car accident, was actually beaten about the head several times by her ex-husband. Her ex-husband being Timothy Rodney. She was left for dead. The individual left the area. The officers, after realizing who the perpetrator was able to find him on his job and subsequently arrest him and charge him with assault in the first degree. I want to reach out to the community as well and thank them to the bottom of my heart for those individuals who came forward with a lot of information as far as these crimes are concerned, as well as for the men and women in blue who've been out there in what we call saturated patrol, which is something that has been initiated by the police commissioner, to go out there and attack and confront every single facet of crime that's committed in our areas, in our neighborhoods, where children are at play and families are afraid to roam our community, because they themselves find themselves being hostages as a result of these individuals who have plagued this community and definitely incarcerated them in their homes. As a result of the initiative by the police commissioner, members of the Special Operations Bureau, the K-9 Division, the Marine Unit, engulfed in these neighborhoods, and subsequently we have at least 26 arrests from last weekend to this weekend as a result of the initiative by the police commissioner.
The governor just had a press conference just a short time ago at 1 o'clock to address this whole situation as well. During National Police Week, let we just take a deep breath and just say, wow, we got to do a better job than this. At Ann Schrader Command, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
The owners of Everybody's gas station is in trouble once again. Here's PIO Melody Rames of the Virgin Islands Police Department.
Police on St. Croix arrested 71-year-old David A. Dawood and charged him with possession of stolen property. Dawood was arrested Monday, May 10th at about 8:15 p.m. based on a warrant issued by the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands. On Thursday, May 6th, during a raid of Everybody's service station in Estate La Grande Princess, which Dawood owns, police confiscated a pressure washer that was reported stolen in an earlier residential burglary. Also confiscated in the raid were several hundred illegal or bootleg DVDs and ammunition. 2 customers who were at the gas station at the time of the raid were found to be in possession of marijuana and were arrested. The gas station manager, 33-year-old Tariq Abdallah of Estate Barron Spot, attempted to push through the police perimeter, and he was arrested and charged with interfering with an officer. Dawood's bail was set at $25,000, which he posted. He will attend his advisor rights hearing.
Thanks, Melody Rames of the Virgin Islands Police Department. Now it's time to check in with your Caribbean report for tonight. In San Martin, the regional airline Windward Islands Airways Win Air ticket office was robbed early in the morning on Friday at 11:05 a.m. The assailants were 3 youths carrying guns, posing as customers, and held up 2 female employees at the ticket office company's headquarters. Managing Director of Win Air, Irwin Hodge, stated that safety and security of both employees and customers are of paramount importance, and therefore we will investigate the matter as we seek to ensure that those responsible for the unfortunate situation are brought to justice. And in St. Kitts, the returning Nationals Association has answered the call of St. Kitts and Nevis Ministry of the National Security for the community to play a larger role in the fight against crime. We recognize that the ministry is fully committed to trying to solve the problems, the Associated President George Richards stressed on this week's edition of SKNIS Perspective. Some people tend to think that the government alone can do everything, but crime is such a multifaceted issue that it takes more than just the government. In Port-au-Prince, Haiti, they've been forced to swap school pencils for pistols, homework for holdups, and drug deals. With no parents, some Haitian earthquake orphans have turned to slum gangs in a scrabbled bid to survive. Square meals and comforts of home are now a part of the past. Thousands of youngsters who lost their mothers and fathers on January 12th's devastating earthquake in Port-au-Prince and are now turning to roving gangs to fill the void. In an absence of non-governmental organizations or local offices, the new orphans turned into gang lords. They came to us because they have no one else. We tried to help, but there's nothing here, stated a gang member, a wool cap pulled down over his head. And that's your Caribbean Report. It's National Police Week. That's coming up next on Channel 8.